Queen Camilla has long been surrounded by whispers linking her to the tragic death of Princess Diana. Now with tensions reaching a boiling point, Diana's lawyer has come forward claiming to have new evidence. As the case heads to court, Camilla breaks down. Who does the evidence point at? Join us as we uncover the truth behind this long-standing mystery. Camilla's shadow in Diana's tragic story. For a while, people have been guessing and arguing about Camilla's part in Diana's sad story. Was she just seen as a mistress or did she have a more important role? Some say she was caught up in a complicated romantic situation, while others claim she had a big influence. Now, after many years, Camilla's shadow, her name, is in the news again, causing controversy once more. To understand why, we have to look back at how it all began. In the early 1970s, Camilla and Charles met and quickly fell in love. Their similar sense of humor, common interests, and strong chemistry made them grow closer. Nevertheless, Charles ended up marrying Diana, a charming young lady who represented the perfect princess image. Even though he married Diana, Charles continued to have intense feelings for Camilla that he never completely got over. He stayed in a close relationship with Camilla even after marrying Diana. Diana was aware of the private talks, secret meetings, and Charles's clear favoritism towards Camilla. Diana must have found it tough to be married to a man who loved someone else. That was the difficult truth she had to accept. But Diana made sure to speak up about her feelings. In 1995, she gave a famous interview where she talked directly to the camera. In this interview, she made a statement that would shake the royal family. This revelation about Diana's pain because of Camilla became well known. Camilla's reputation in Britain suffered overnight as people accused her of taking away Diana's happiness and making her sad. Many people continued to dislike Camilla even after Diana's early death in 1997. Despite marrying Charles in 2005, some still did not see Camilla as a member of the royal family. Some rumors suggest that she may have played a role in Diana's death. It was believed for a long time that Diana passed away in a car crash in Paris caused by a drunk driver trying to escape the paparazzi. But is there more to the story than what we know? Recently, the situation has changed. Confidential documents were made public, apparently not meant to be seen by everyone. These documents suggested that Diana's death might not have been a coincidence. Additionally, there were witnesses. Past royal staff members who had stayed silent for a long time began to speak out. According to an anonymous source, Princess Diana had raised worries about her safety before she passed away. There were rumors that she had told friends about her fears that someone was planning something against her. Afterwards, a message was received. Diana wrote a frightening message predicting her death, believing she would pass away in a tragic car crash. The note detailed brake failure and a deadly head injury, leading to questions about whether her prediction was out of fear or true intuition. Camilla is mentioned again in connection with this incident. According to documents and witness statements, important people in the royal circle saw Diana as a nuisance. She became a target because of her extreme popularity, bold personality, and unpredictable actions. She was more than just a princess. She was widely loved around the world for challenging royal norms. Some people saw her actions as a threat, especially those wanting Charles and Camilla to reunite without any obstacles. Imagine if you were in Camilla's position. There is a woman you love who is preventing you from becoming queen. Would you do nothing or would you try to do something to fix the problem? Some individuals believe that Camilla did not wait patiently, but instead took action. They claim she knew about the unfolding situation, including the plan to harm Diana. They say she stayed quiet as everything happened, even though there is no solid proof, only rumors, gossip, and theories. However, in today's world, rumors can turn into scandals quickly, and theories can gain traction fast. Why is Camilla being accused once again after many years have gone by? The media's influence can be blamed for this. Non-fiction movies, books, and websites have reignited curiosity in the subject. Many online programs and videos exploring Princess Diana's final moments have captured the attention of a wide audience. New books claim to reveal undisclosed information about the secret scandals of the royal family. Well-known figures like journalists, ex-palace employees, and celebrities are participating in the ongoing discussion. A respected reporter recently said there is still more to learn about the events leading to Diana's death, suggesting that powerful people might be hiding. Leaked while Diana was out of the ChatGPT said. Crucial details. Although not explicitly mentioned, it is thought that the implication was clear. Camilla and others who sought to protect her relationship with Charles may have known more than they admitted. The public's perspective is shifting again. Some see Camilla as a woman who stood by a man and waited patiently for her opportunity, while others see her as someone who capitalized on Diana's suffering. The recent declaration of her title as Queen Camilla has stirred up old feelings. There are still followers of Diana who would not accept her as queen, seeing it as a slight to Diana's memory. Are these hypotheses true? There is no solid proof that Camilla was involved in Princess Diana's death. There is no clear evidence or reliable information. Despite this, rumors continue to spread. The mystery surrounding Princess Diana's death has only grown deeper with the discovery of old records, the disturbing content of her letter, and new accounts from former palace workers. Was Diana's death just a tragic accident? Or was there a plan to ensure Charles and Camilla could be together without any obstacles? The real answer might always be unknown to everyone. Years later, it is clear that Diana still influences the royal family, and Camilla will always be linked to a story of love, betrayal, and a sad ending that will never be forgotten. But what evidence did Diana's lawyer reveal against Camilla? And why was it hidden for decades? The folder that spoke for Diana. Queen Camilla entered the courtroom with poise and confidence. Photographers took pictures, journalists leaned in, and everyone waited in anticipation. All attention was on her. Without pause, she moved gracefully and sat down composed, though her clenched jaw hinted at underlying tension. An older man sat facing her with a thick black folder that belonged to Diana's previous lawyer. He gazed at Camilla intently, not with anger, but with concentration. Carefully, he opened the folder, revealing something much weightier than just paper. With each page turned, the atmosphere in the room seemed to change. This court proceeding was no ordinary one. It held a greater importance. The folder contained letters, notes, and photos that were once kept secret and feared. The room fell silent when the attorney began to speak, and everyone's attention shifted. Reporters, jurors, and the judge all sensed that something impactful was about to be revealed. The first photograph was the first piece of evidence presented. It was not blurred or outdated, but rather clear and crisp. The photo depicted Charles and Camilla smiling in what appeared to be a natural moment. However, it was later revealed that it was a staged and planned image that had been strategically released. Following the photo, a letter written by Diana was introduced. The handwriting was legible and the content revealed her sense of being excluded and marginalized. The letter was dated shortly after the photo had been taken, adding to the emotional impact of Diana's words. Many people in the courtroom found it difficult to read the letter and turned away while Camilla remained expressionless, not raising her eyes from the document. More letters arrived next, all penned by Diana, but never mailed. These letters revealed a tale of fear and sadness of sensing that something was amiss. Diana suspected she was being deliberately excluded, not by mistake, but on purpose. Her words unsettled those who read them. The next recordings played were of different voices, some belonging to Diana and some from others. A woman discussed media strategies and making someone appear vulnerable. The mention of Camilla caused shock and silence in the room. Camilla seemed to want to say something but did not. The evidence presented was not just speculation. It was actual proof of what happened. The lawyer remained silent after that. He did not need to say anything else. The folder of evidence spoke volumes on its own. It seemed like Diana's side of the story was finally being acknowledged. The previous silence that surrounded her was now starting to break. The front screen in the room suddenly turned on. Pictures started to show up. The first photo displayed Charles and Camilla at a polo match appearing joyful. However, the lawyer pointed out that it was a planned moment, not spontaneous. By showing the timestamp on the photo and the subsequent headline, a noticeable pattern began to emerge. Another picture appeared. Diana was by herself during a hospital visit. During that same week, the media criticized her for seeming distant. However, the lawyer presented evidence that the distinctions between her and Camilla were deliberately fabricated. This wasn't just random news coverage. It was all part of a calculated scheme. A third picture showed up, this time of Charles and Camilla at a dinner event. The photo was leaked while Diana was out of the country working on charity projects. It seemed like the intention was to divert attention away from Diana's charitable work. The atmosphere in the courtroom became somber and still with no one making a move. Next was the last picture showing a family gathering. Diana was positioned behind Charles, but in the version shared with the public, she had been removed. This subtle edit spoke volumes, highlighting not just what was visible in the image, but also what had been intentionally removed. Camilla shut her eyes. The pictures not only recounted tales but also depicted choices being made. They exposed how situations were influenced, how feelings were directed, and how memories were created intentionally, not randomly. As the final image disappeared from the screen, the room became quiet. The silence wasn't just from surprise, but also from a deeper feeling of sadness. It wasn't just sadness for Diana, but for the truth that had been concealed for a long time. Finally, it was revealed. However, that wasn't all. The next piece of evidence made many believe it was as if Princess Diana was speaking from the grave decades later. When Diana's voice was finally heard, the lawyer cautiously picked up an old faded envelope. He used gloves as he carefully removed the first letter from inside. He mentioned that the letters were never sent out and were not meant to be kept secret. The courtroom was silent as his calm voice filled the room. Everyone watched as he examined the letter written by Princess Diana. Her elegant and familiar handwriting told a very personal story. She talked about feeling excluded, abandoned, and disregarded. This happened right after Charles and Camilla made a public appearance together. Diana mentioned the lack of support from the palace, changing loyalties, and how loneliness was being used against her. Then she received a second, shorter letter that was full of anguish. She wrote about others trying to portray her as mentally unstable. She questioned if this was a scheme to tear her apart and strip her of everything she had remaining. The atmosphere in the room became more tense as the jurors showed signs of being affected. Camilla appeared rigid with her face looking pale and her usual elegance disappearing. The following letter from Diana was even more heart-wrenching. She openly accused not only her aides but also high-ranking members of the royal family who had abandoned her. Diana mentioned that Camilla received significant backing from individuals whom she had once considered family. She recounted feeling excluded from important events, left out of decision-making processes, and constantly made to feel like an outsider. These signs of discord were also noticed by the public, evident in missed appearances, uncomfortable smiles, and events she did not attend. The last letter did not have a date on it. It concluded with a troubling question. Would people remember her as crazy or just someone suffering from heartbreak? The room became quiet. These words were not meant for anyone else but Diana. She wrote them for herself to express her pain and her true feelings. However, her voice was not just limited to written words. The lights became less bright. A gentle noise was heard from the speakers. A clear, cold voice spoke next, and it belonged to Camilla. She mentioned that the press was starting to lose sympathy for Diana, and she appeared happy about it. There was a hushed conversation in the room. The judge agreed with what was being said. Another video was shown. Camilla's voice could be heard again, suggesting that Diana was too emotional and that portraying her as fragile was beneficial for them. Then another person's voice was heard. A staff member confirming a plan to publish stories about Diana's mental health. The people in the courtroom reacted immediately with gasps and shock. One juror even covered her mouth. Then Diana spoke quietly and brokenly in a secret recording. She felt that her honesty was being used against her. She believed they wanted to not only end her marriage, but to get rid of her completely. These were brief video clips, a little shaky, but they conveyed media manipulation, something that written letters could not. Tone, meaning, and the intention behind the charm. Another recording exists of Camilla speaking on the phone. She expressed her belief that a newspaper article portraying Diana positively should not be allowed to be published. Camilla claimed that neither she nor Diana were the real victims in the situation. After the lights came back on, Camilla appeared to be wiping her face, possibly shedding a tear or feeling the burden of the conversation that had just taken place. These were not just random happenings. There was a deliberate plan behind it all. It was an organized effort to manipulate the media. The lawyer came back with evidence like emails, media records, and timelines. He demonstrated how news stories about Diana were strategically timed with important events in her life. He detailed how Camilla would discreetly meet with editors to influence articles. The stories were crafted, images were altered, and gossip was intentionally spread as part of a deliberate strategy. A memo from a press advisor included topics for the media to focus on about Princess Diana, such as her moods and emotions. These were not discovered by journalists, but rather provided to them. Emails revealed the process of approving stories. One particular email hidden rivalry caught attention as it mentioned that insiders from a tabloid claimed Diana was unreliable. This article was set to be published soon and had the approval of the royal family. Then the attorney ended the discussion with a powerful statement accusing the act of character assassination as disguised journalism. But why do people believe Camilla could be guilty of these accusations? What kind of rivalry has plagued these two women for years? A hidden rivalry. The public saw Princess Diana and Camilla Parker Bowles as being romantically involved, but in reality, their rivalry went deeper than expected. They competed not only for love, but also for power, respect, and self-protection. Diana, a popular young woman admired for her beauty, won the hearts of many when she married Prince Charles, creating what seemed to be a perfect fairy tale. However, Camilla, who had been Charles's girlfriend for a long time, was a complicating factor in the picture. Even though Diana became the Princess of Wales when she married Charles, it was evident that Camilla still had feelings for him, which upset Diana. Diana knew what was happening between them. She famously talked about feeling crowded in her marriage. Diana saw Camilla as a rival who was keeping her from being happy. At the same time, Camilla viewed Diana as the main obstacle in her relationship with Charles. The rivalry between the two women grew stronger over time. As Diana became more popular, Camilla's reputation became linked to scandal in the background. What if Camilla wanted more than just being with Charles? Maybe she wanted to get rid of Diana completely. Diana was not just loved, but also had power and influence. She was admired worldwide for her beauty, kindness, and connection with the public. She was more than just a royal. She was a global symbol. She could easily charm a room. The public adored her. The media followed her every move, and her influence was unmatched. Camilla saw Diana as a threat. Diana's place in the royal family would always reduce Charles's power. Also, there was a chance that she would have challenged him with her authority. Diana had already talked about his affair in public, sharing personal information with everyone. We can only guess what other secrets she might have exposed if she hadn't passed away early. After the divorce, Diana gained independence from Charles, but she still posed a big problem for Camilla. Even though she did not have a royal title anymore, she was still called the People's Princess. Her ongoing popularity among the public made sure that the media kept focusing on her. While Camilla encountered challenges, she was still seen as the other woman being held responsible for breaking up a perfect romance. As long as Diana was around, it seemed unlikely that Camilla would be accepted by the public. If Diana had not passed away, would Charles and Camilla ever have been able to come out in the open? Would society have approved of their relationship? Diana was able to keep Camilla hidden from the public eye as long as she wanted. In 1997, Princess Diana passed away in a car crash in Paris. People all over the world mourned her death and there were rumors of a conspiracy. Many wondered if she was targeted for harm. There was no proof that Camilla was involved, but Diana's death had a big effect. With Diana gone, Camilla found more acceptance and new chances in society. She eventually married Charles, became the Duchess of Cornwall, and later became the Queen. Did someone secretly want Diana to disappear? The truth may never be known, but one thing is certain. Diana's sudden disappearance cleared the path for Camilla to become queen. But what role did Charles play in all of this? Was he an accomplice? Keep watching to find out more. The moment the crown cracked, the lights in the room grew dimmer. The lawyer walked over to a timeline displaying secret meetings at the palace. He described how the media reports and public narratives were based on long-standing plans made behind closed doors in the palace. Initially, emails were received from royal staff. Although their words were cautious, the message was obvious. One email advised to stay away from the limelight, while another hinted at attributing Diana's difficulties to emotional issues. These emails were sent shortly before her well-known Panorama interview, which caused suspicion due to the timing. Next, there were notes from a meeting with Charles's team. They discussed the importance of portraying Camilla as a stable and calming presence. However, they were concerned about Diana's growing popularity being an issue. To address this, they decided to take action. A former press aide who is now a witness disclosed that they were instructed to change Camilla's image, even if it meant sidelining Diana. When asked who issued this order, she hesitated before admitting it came from the highest authority. The room became quiet. Everyone understood the significance of the silence. Perhaps Charles had been orchestrating everything behind the scenes. After receiving overwhelming praise for her landmine campaign, a private memo was written suggesting that Diana's public exposure should be decreased. The memo also mentioned that Camilla's team could assist with this effort. This was not a random decision, but a carefully planned and deliberate choice that led to Diana's reduced spotlight. Suddenly, a new audio recording was played in the courtroom. The recording featured a calm voice identified as Camilla's talking to a royal aide. In the recording, she suggested making someone appear unstable in order to protect the crown. During the playback, Camilla sat in the courtroom looking nervous with shaking hands and trembling lips. Eventually, she seemed to have an emotional breakdown. At the gathering, people overheard her quietly admitting that she did not intend for things to escalate so much. She confessed feeling frightened and confessed she thought she would be left out if another woman stayed. Everyone in the room stopped in shock when she spoke. Although she did not directly confess to being guilty, many thought her words showed honesty and something more significant. The jury members saw her release her role as Queen Camilla and reveal her true self, overwhelmed and haunted by her past silence. Her words were described as honest and powerful as she expressed her desire to have a place in his life. The harm was already done. The truth remained unchanged. Crying couldn't alter the reality. However, the moment that shocked everyone finally arrived. Queen Camilla broke down in court and confessed to everything. The truth that shook the throne. He enters the spotlight, appearing calm and collected. His words capture everyone's attention in the quiet courtroom. He clarifies that this situation was not focused on rumors or controversy. Instead, it was a secret battle that lasted for 15 years. The plan was meticulously crafted and kept hidden, with every photograph, news story, and rumor serving a purpose. The ultimate objective was to eliminate a woman from the history of the royal family. He opens a black folder. Inside are clues targeting Diana. It wasn't a story of love or a failed marriage. This was all about power and control. Diana was left to suffer, isolated and unfairly accused. The system that was supposed to help failed her. People who should have spoken up, including aides, royals, and even the crown, stayed silent. He believes the betrayal wasn't just individual but was embedded in the system as a whole. He shows a final picture of Diana with her sons. Despite everything she went through, she remained strong for them, serving as their mother and protector even when she wasn't receiving protection herself. The silence is broken. The room is completely still. Suddenly, the silence is broken. He looks at Camilla. He is not seeking punishment. He is seeking honesty. He wants recognition, not just for the event itself, but for the person it affected. The courtroom remains still, but there has been a change. A clear boundary has been established. The world outside is chaotic, with cameras flashing and reporters shouting as headlines about Queen exposed and Camilla's collapse spread rapidly. The news travels across the globe and people everywhere stop to watch as footage of Camilla crying plays repeatedly. Some interpret it as genuine heartbreak, while others view it as a staged performance. The internet is buzzing with activity as hashtags like #JusticeForDiana and #NotMyQueen start trending. Memes are spreading like wildfire and petitions are being flooded with signatures. People are demanding answers and calling for change. A crowd gathers outside Clarence's house, with some holding candles and others holding signs. The police intervene as emotions escalate. Inside the palace, chaos ensues. Camilla is refusing to answer phone calls. The aides are whispering frantically in panic. Even the most loyal individuals are surprised. Morning television shows are bringing in former staff to comment. A former butler, trembling, expresses disbelief and says that he never expected this day to arrive. The scandal that brought Diana back. The atmosphere surrounding the royal family is filled with tension. It hasn't been this intense since Princess Diana's funeral. Prince William silently departs from Kensington Palace, his expression impossible to decipher. Prince Harry, who is now far away from home, is rumored to be devastated. He supposedly confided in a friend that recent revelations confirm his previous suspicions. He wasn't just imagining things. Diana had attempted to alert them all. Around noon, the palace sends out a brief message that does not provide any answers or comfort and does not mention any names. The message only states that they are currently reviewing the situation. However, the public is no longer reassured by cold statements. Rumor has it that Queen Camilla is isolated at Clarence's house, with staff coming and going silently. There are reports that she is not communicating with King Charles. The king himself has not been seen, leading to speculation that he may be upset, unwell, or considering stepping down from his position. The truth remains unknown. Royal advisors are working frantically behind closed doors, but nothing they try seems to succeed. Their efforts to distract attention have all been unsuccessful. Even when they attempted to highlight Camilla's charity work, the response on the internet was negative. Many people do not believe it can make up for her past actions. This moment is very significant. It questions the narrative that the royal family has told for a long time. Diana's two sons, one silent and one in pain, are at the center of it, each carrying a different part of her legacy. Some people are questioning Camilla's title, and there are even rumors of abdication being talked about in political circles. Camilla's reputation was in danger of being ruined. But then something surprising occurred. Diana's memory emerges, not physically, but in people's minds. Her voice, story, and truth become prominent once more. Old footage of her appears on TV screens. Her previously dismissed calm voice now sounds powerful and distinct. People are rewatching her interviews. Her words are no longer seen as emotional, but as cautionary. Diana's diary is revealed, and her sisters finally break their silence to talk about it. They confess that they were unaware of the extent of her struggles. Pictures of Diana helping AIDS patients and visiting risky areas come to light. These moments are more than just memories of royalty. They show a woman who was compassionate and outspoken. People all over the world are lighting candles in memory of Princess Diana. In cities like London, Paris, Sydney, and Nairobi, there are gatherings to honor her. Letters are being sent to her sons, with one expressing a newfound understanding. Diana's legacy has moved beyond tragedy to symbolize strength and honesty. The palace is quiet and peaceful. Rumors are spreading. People are speculating that King Charles may abdicate the throne out of honor rather than health reasons. Some are questioning whether Camilla will retreat from the public eye or continue without influence. Discussions about royal protocols are starting in Parliament. What would be the consequences if a member of the royal family was involved in a media smear campaign against another? The whole world is wondering if the monarchy can remain unchanged now that the truth has been revealed. No one has the answer at this moment. However, it is evident that Diana's voice is now taking the lead. What do you think about Queen Camilla's actions? What kind of punishment do you think she deserves? Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Before you go, click on the video displayed on your screen.